Oh, I fell down there. Hey YouTube, this is Ozarks Brother Jerry, and I've got this week's Torah portion, which is Tetze, and not positive that's how it's pronounced, but that's what I'm going to go with. So this week's Torah portion is Deuteronomy 21:10 through 25:19, which is the entire chapter 25. So 21:10 through 25, and it's an overview. It covers family commandments, capital punishment, commandments concerning animals, commandments on marriage, and sexual assault, two different things. People excluded from the assembly, even a commandment on human waste, divorce and slavery, how to implement public punishment, and finally the commandment to block out Amalek. So I just want to hone in on two areas. And they are, one is talks about how you can't harvest a mother bird along with its chicks or its eggs, and another talks about remembering what happened with Miriam as they left after they left Egypt. So first of all, we'll do the birds. Next, Deuteronomy 22:6 and 7. If a bird's nest chance be before thee in the way, in any tree, or on the ground, whether they be young ones or eggs, and the dam sitting upon the young or upon the eggs, thou shalt not take the dam with the young. But thou shalt in any wise let the dam go, and take the young to thee, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days. So, some of the sages say this is the least of the commandments. But as a general rule, just a general statement, birds are used a lot in Scripture. They can cleanse. They're used to cleanse a building, to cleanse a person, and they were involved in Pharaoh's dream that Joseph interpreted. So just something to think about. Some of the practical reasons for this commandment may be, as a rule, you can't catch a flying bird. A mother bird's maternal instinct to stay and protect her offspring. Consequently, she can be, caught easily if she's there trying to defend her babies. It would be perverse to use, an instinct given by Elohim to catch her and take her young. And another side issue of this is some people, spin off on this is, it would be wrong to take advantage of a human mother's love for her children to force her to do something. So, another reason is letting the mother go preserves the species. If everyone caught the babies along with the mothers, there wouldn't be anything left. And then as just a general comment, it wouldn't be fair to make the mother watch the demise of her offspring. So you chase her off, and you take her out. You harvest her offspring. So some potential deeper reasons for this the least of the commandments, as they say. Well, and another comment on that is, even if it is indeed the least of the commandments, if we follow it, things may be well for us. And if you look up that well in the Brown Driver Briggs, that's pleasing, and also we'll live longer. So if it's the least of the commandments, if we can harvest these two things, things going well for us and long life, that's pretty awesome. And also it shows how Yahweh cares for all of his creation, even the little birds or sparrows. Matthew 10:29, are not two sparrows sold for a farthing, and one of them shall not fall on the ground without your Father. Luke 12:6, are not 5 sparrows sold for 2 farthings, and not one of them is forgotten before Elohim. And maybe I should have got the verse, but it also says in here that we're more important to the Father than sparrows are. So he watches out for our every need. Then the other area I talked about was Miriam, and that's Deuteronomy 24:8 and 9. Take heed in the plague of leprosy, that thou observe diligently, and do according to all that the priest Levites shall teach you, as I commanded them, so you shall observe to do. Remember what Yahweh thy Elohim did unto Miriam by the way, after that ye were come forth out of Egypt. So that story is in, that account is in Numbers 12, 1 through 10. And it reads, And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moshe because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman. And they said, Hath Yahweh indeed spoken only by Moshe? Hath he not also spoken by us? And Yahweh heard it. Now the man Moshe was very meek above all the men which were upon the face of the earth. And Yahweh spake suddenly unto Moshe and unto Aaron and unto Miriam. Come out ye three unto the tabernacle of the congregation. And they three came out. And Yahweh came down in the pillar of the cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth. And he said, Hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I Yahweh will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream. My servant Moshe is not so, who is faithful in all mine house. With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches. And the similitude of Yahweh shall he behold. Wherefore then were ye not afraid to speak against my servant Moshe? And the anger of Yahweh was kindled against them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous. So why did Miriam and Aaron? And I'm not, I don't pretend to know why Aaron didn't get the same punishment, but why did they speak out against Moshe? Well, because of his wife, and obviously they were jealous. Well, hasn't Yahweh spoken through me? And Moshe gets to be in charge. And maybe this is just talking about leprosy, but this is something I'm guilty of, and that's obviously why it came out. It was something that I wanted to talk about. It's one thing to objectively describe the details of a situation, but it is another to run down the perceived perpetrator for two reasons. You may damage someone's faith or even prevent them from getting faith. And it may be that the person that you're having an issue with is doing the best he can do. And if he just goes from one thing to another and implements the same wrong thing that you perceive, that's something else. But I'm just saying that I tell myself to caution, whom I speak ill of. It usually doesn't lead to life anyhow. Even if you're right, it doesn't help that person. So I would just throw that precaution out there, because I'm guilty of that. And finally, I was looking for birds, just doing a search on birds, things peculiar to them in Scripture, and I came up on Ecclesiastes 10:20, and I'm not sure how much this applies, but I'll go ahead and read it. Curse not the king, no, not in thy thought. Curse not the rich in thy bedchamber. For a bird of the air shall carry the voice, and that which hath wings shall tell the matter. So, I thought that might, encompass the two areas I talked about. Bad-mouthing people. And the bird situation. I know we live in America and we don't have a king. Our government gets its consent of the people, gets its power from the consent of the people. But it's still something to think about. The bird in this verse may very well refer to a person who hears you and tattles on you. But it could be a bird, and we know that the Father pays attention to the birds. So just food for thought. So talk to you next week.